and their determination and finishing. My story is a little different. I went to the University of Michigan-Dearborn straight out of high school, and one part that Farhan did not read on my bio, which I wish he would have cut the rest of the stuff out and read this part, which I am most proud about. I'm a first-generation college student. So that's what I am most proud about. I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. And I did everything myself. And the reason I did everything myself is because when I was in high school, I grew up part of my high school in DPS, and then my parents moved to the suburbs because I was going down a track that I shouldn't have been going down. And so we moved out to the suburbs, and in 10th grade, I had a counselor, and everyone runs into, someone who is an obstacle or a barrier. And my counselor was an obstacle or a barrier, my high school counselor. And I just went to high school and I played sports, and the reason I played football because everyone told me I couldn't play football. So if you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it good. So I played football because everyone said I was too small to play football. So I played football for an all-state high school football team. And then in my counselor, and come to find out I was in remedial courses in high school. And I didn't know, I just went to school. I never paid attention to what classes I took or anything. But my English teacher said, "David, why are you in my class?" And I said, "It's the class they gave me when I showed up in the summer." And he said, "You're not supposed to be in this class." I said, "Why not? It's a fun English class. We were just reading books and it was fun." But come to find out it was a remedial English course, and and I had my report card, and he gave my report card. He said, and he looked at my course, my grades, and he said, "You're getting A's in all these classes because you're not supposed to be in these classes." He said, "You're more advanced than these classes that they're offering you." So he said, "Go to your counselor and talk to her about this." And I didn't. I went home and I told my mother, I'm getting good grades in school. And then I did tell my mother, I was like, "But my counselor said that I'm in remedial courses and all this and that." But my mother called the school, or she called my counselor and said, his English teacher said he's not supposed to be in these courses. And the counselor called me into her office, and she said, "David, what do you plan to do after high school?" And I said, "I don't know." I said, I'll probably go to, most of my family went to Henry Ford Community College. So I said, I'll probably go to Henry Ford Community College, but they would drop out after a semester or so, my older brothers and sisters. So she said, "Yeah, that's the right track." And so then my mother, she kept me in the same course, and then my mother called back and said, "Get my son out of these courses." So next thing I know, I'm in harder classes next year, and I'm not really enjoying it. But my high school football coach said, for you to play football on a high school team, you have to be an honor roll student for you to get playing time. You could be on the team, but if you want playing time, you have to be an honor roll student. So I was on honor roll, and because I wanted to play football. So then graduation time came, and I didn't know anything about applying to colleges. But all my friends were saying, "Oh, I'm going to this school, I'm going to that school." And I was embarrassed because I had not applied to any schools. So I said, "Ooh, what should I do?" And so a few of my friends mentioned the University of Michigan-Dearborn, Eastern Michigan, and Grand Valley. So those are the three schools I applied to. And I was accepted to all three. And I went to UM-Dearborn because it was close to home. And I lived in Westland, and it was easy for me to get to. I don't know how to go to Grand Valley and pack up a car and get back and forth to school. So I went to UM-Dearborn. And I was very involved at UM-Dearborn. I was involved in numerous student organizations, student activities board, the radio station, campus video. I was involved in everything. And I played nice with everyone. I'm not a person for conflict. So I think that this eventually worked its way up to the administration. And sooner or later, I was the African-American poster child for the university. Because I played nice with everyone. And they were like, "Oh, okay, since he's playing nice, we can use him because he's not the militant one." Exactly, I was manageable. So, I was on the front of a few publications, and next thing I know, I'm being invited to the chancellor's office to start the conversation on race, which I think still goes on. And I am proud to say, I was in the first meeting for the conversation on race at the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And so I was in that office, and I was like, why are they trying to bring race to this campus? I was like, we don't have any race problems. I was like, I'll get along with everyone, race is just fine. And I am happy to say that the conversations on race opened my eyes to all the race problems that were at UM-Dearborn. And, it's not always good to just go along with the flow like I was doing. I was just going along, I was getting along with everyone. And, I just wanted to be the popular guy, I guess. Everyone liked me. I had to be likable. And eventually, I did start, pushing the envelope a little bit more and challenging people and stepping up to the forefront. And I think this helped me more along in my career than it would have been in other ways. And so then I started to build more connections and throughout college with, Dr. Porter and, Dr. Pollard, and, take her class too, great English class. And so these were the connections that helped me. And so then graduation time came around, and I graduated with a bachelor's in communications and a minor in management. And I was looking for a job, and lo and behold, I was hired by the University of Michigan to work in their admissions office to be the spokesperson for the campus again. So I recruited students such as Charles to the university, Janie as well, and numerous other students. But I developed a passion for urban education and first generation college students. And this is where I find my passion to be in. I really think that it's important because I used to recruit in DPS, and I recruited a lot of DPS students to come to the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And I think it is the best thing in the world where a student who does not think that college is for them eventually goes on to college and graduate from college. Okay, getting into college is just one step. Graduating from college is the most important step in that process. So I also developed a program because I found out that at the University of Michigan, criteria to get in, even to the University of Michigan-Dearborn, is difficult for a lot of students in the public schools. And when I would speak to a senior and they was like, oh, I want to come to UM-Dearborn, and then they come to me with a 2.0 and a 14, like, you can't come to the University of Michigan-Dearborn. And it hurts me to tell someone that because I want to be the likable guy, so I developed a program where we would start recruiting students, not necessarily recruiting students, but informing students in the 9th and 10th grade about college criteria, so that if you want to go to college, you have to take these steps starting in 9th and 10th grade. And we're finding out that the process starts before that. You have to start in middle school, and eventually some studies will be done where you need to eventually probably even start at elementary school to get the fundamentals to go on to college. But I developed a program where we would start in the 9th and 10th grade and start informing students of how to get to the college of your choice. And every year we would recruit these students, and not necessarily recruit, but inform these students of what they need to be doing to get to the university. And so that's why I'm involved with the Young People's Project, which is Bob Mosley, which some of the older individuals in here may know about, know him. He developed the Young People's Project, which is a math literacy program which teaches students just skills through math to eventually help them be successful in life and also give back to their community. And so I'm involved with the Young People's Project at the University of Michigan Ann Arbor chapter, and I have also worked with Future Professions Academy through Regina Storrs, who is the Director of Career Services at UM-Dearborn, and I've done presentations for Youthville Detroit as well as those to help inner city students eventually achieve their dreams of graduating from college. And I'll end with this. I say college, is not for everyone. However, I think, because P. Diddy didn't graduate from college. Jay-Z didn't graduate from college. Lil Wayne didn't graduate from college. And college maybe wasn't for them because they're making more money than all of us. But college will open more doors than not going to college. So that's why, unless you have a plan, such as P. Diddy or Jay-Z or Lil Wayne, if you have a plan that will help you be successful that way, then fine. But you better have a plan come graduation day, June, whatever, when you cross that stage. Because in college should be the majority of those plans because it's going to open more doors than not going to college.
Thank you.
My most memorable memories of the University of Michigan-Dearborn has to be the late night studying or the late night projects with my friends who I come to who are still my friends to this day. I mean, I'm recently married and I was in a few weddings last year, and guys, I stood up for my friend in his wedding last year, and the way we met was studying for Natural Science 120 Professor Donald Miller's class. And we met because we were all in the library at the same time the week before the exam, and now we're best friends. And he stood up in my wedding earlier this year, and those are my memories that I have because you're all struggling. You all don't have any money, so you're ordering pizza place to try to get a $5 pizza delivered to campus to the Mardigian Library at 11 o'clock at night. And it's just, that when I think back to UM-Dearborn, that's what comes to mind first. Studying in the SAB office late at night on the computer, either for a class or even for an SAB event, bringing a concert or a movie to campus. Those are the and the camaraderie and the conversation and that comes up with that. I remember one time I was interviewed by the Michigan, I know the name, Michigan Journal. I was interviewed by the Michigan Journal, and they asked me a question. They said, "So what's your favorite class on campus?" And that semester, my favorite class was Professor Woodward's class. And I had skipped the class a few times. And it was consecutive because I was working on a big event for SAB. So I think I missed like 2 days of class. And I knew he read the Michigan Journal. So, because he was when we were going to class, he would be right there reading it. And so my quote in the Michigan Journal was, "Professor Woodward, don't worry, I'll be in class tomorrow." And I did show up to class, and he was right there waiting for me, in the class. But he understood. Your professors will understand, your extracurricular involvement. But I mean, you just can't be goofing off in the parking lots or like she said or anything like that. You have to really be putting forth some effort in something. And then I still turned in my classwork and everything. I just had people going to class for me. So.
Very often,
I'll go and then you can finish. For this, I want to just comment on that. I want to get yourself a study partner and get yourself a study place. A study partner with the same major that you have, but then when you study with that study partner, you ought to be able to help each other with what you don't know and what they don't know. But then even after you separate, you still have to go home and study some more. And that's what I didn't get. I used to just study with my friends, and then I go back and I get a B or a C on the test, and they get an A's. I'm like, we studied the same amount of time. They're like, well, I stayed up late one night. I'm like, well, why didn't you tell me you were staying up late? So study even more than just with that study part. But get yourself a study partner. I think that would be very key. That's what helped me the most studying throughout throughout college, because I didn't know how to study until when I got to college. To answer your questions, what's your name again?
Sarah.
Sarah. To answer Sarah's questions, why was I unaware about the race problem? I think I was fortunate. My parents raised us where we were very, we experienced a lot of different races growing up. I went to a majority all-white church. I still go to a majority all-white church. High school, I went to a majority all-white high school. My summer camps was a majority all-white summer camps. And I think throughout that I just never, growing up, you just eventually your eyes become, blinded, and you just stop looking at race and you start thinking that, oh, we're all just equal and there's no problems. However, I mean, that's a benefit, and it's also a hindrance. It was a hindrance to myself, where when I got to the University of Michigan-Dearborn, I was being discriminated against in a class, by a professor or something, but I wouldn't recognize it. And it wasn't until, these conversations that I was having where I would say, wow, that did happen to me. I didn't think it was anything where, a teacher, probably just brushed me off and said, read more, read the book. Instead of, taking me into their office and actually explaining something to me, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I need to read the book more. When I probably, that teacher could have taken me to a side where, they would probably do it for another teacher. So I think that, my eyes were blinded by the race, and, eventually the blinders were taken off, and I started to be exposed to, I started to recognize it more. So I think that's why I was unaware. And to touch briefly on your question about DPS students, do they need additional support? Yes. The flat out answer is for the majority, I would say yes. Some of them, probably do come to University of Michigan, but I recruited an excellent student from DPS, and this young lady was just perfect for UM-Dearborn, and I had such great expectations for her. And unfortunately, I heard that she has not completed UM-Dearborn, and it hurts my heart because they get to the college, and there is the freedom and all those type of things. And so, what additional support do they need? They need myself. They need Odell. They need you. We need the students who are doing something. We need to help those incoming freshmen. We need to help those sophomores. So we need to set up a program where we are reaching back and where we are giving back, because yes, the Dr. Polish, the Dr. Porters, Professor Rockman, they're all there, and they are a great support system as well. But how many of us, well, I guess I'm preaching to the choir here because we're all here, but how many of those students, know these people? And then how many of them take their words to heart? They're probably just like, oh, okay, I'm not going to ever get a doctorate, so you just talking to the wrong person. So we need to, they will listen to us, they'll listen to you all. And I think that's very important. That's what one of the initiatives I have in the works for the African American affiliate, to set up some type of mentoring and program for the University of Michigan-Dearborn. As far as the student engagement, I want you to start broad. So try everything, and then you're a transfer student, so it's you're advanced. So, but you already know what your passions are. But I encourage, as a freshman, try everything, go to the student meetings. But then each year you got to cut something off, because you can't be involved in everything, and schoolwork is the most important thing. So then, as you work your way up, then you just narrow it, and then you develop the skills. Because when you're applying for jobs, when I'm hiring, I get this laundry list of student organizations. Even when applying to a college, I get this laundry list, and that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for leadership. So we want you to, be a president of an organization or something like that. So start broad and then narrow it as you go, progress.
Excellent.